Welcome back to our spine-tingling series, where we delve into the eerie and unexplained corners of the world. In this third episode of Most Haunted Lighthouses on the East Coast, we embark on a journey along the rugged shores and stormy seas of America's Atlantic coastline. These iconic sentinels of light, built to guide sailors safely home, have also become beacons for something far darker, ghostly legends that refuse to fade with time. Beneath their weathered exteriors and towering beams lie tales of tragedy, madness, and spectral encounters that will leave you questioning whether the light they cast is meant to guide or warn. Lighthouses are inherently liminal spaces, standing at the edge of land and sea, civilization and wilderness, life and death. Their isolation made them both sanctuaries and prisons for those who tended them, and their histories are steeped in stories of shipwrecks, disappearances, and untimely ends. From the rocky cliffs of Maine to the sandy shores of Florida, these structures bear witness to centuries of human struggle against nature's fury. Yet, it is not just the howling winds or crashing waves that make these lighthouses so haunting. It is the lingering presence of those who once called them home. In this episode, will shine a light on some of the most infamous haunted lighthouses scattered across the East Coast. Each one holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lanterns, and disembodied voices carried by the salty breeze. We'll hear first-hand accounts from keepers past and present, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these spectral guardians. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the shadowy embrace of these haunted lighthouses, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the beam of light, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Seguin Island Light Station, a symphony of sorrow perched atop a jagged rock formation off the coast of Maine, the Seguin Island Light Station stands as one of the oldest and most isolated lighthouses in New England. Commissioned in 1795, its towering granite structure was designed to withstand the relentless fury of the Atlantic Ocean, yet it has proven no match for the storms of human despair that have raged within its walls. This remote outpost has earned a reputation as one of the most haunted lighthouses on the East Coast, its history marred by tragedy, betrayal, and a haunting melody that echoes through the ages. One of the most enduring legends tied to Seguin Island revolves around a young keeper's wife whose story has become synonymous with its spectral lore. According to local folklore, the keeper's bride accompanied him to the island in the mid-19th century, hoping to escape the monotony of mainland life. However, the isolation soon took its toll, plunging her into deep melancholy. To lift her spirits, the keeper purchased a piano and had it shipped to the island, a rare luxury in such a desolate location. Initially delighted, she began playing the same haunting tune over and over again, driving her husband to distraction. Desperate for peace, he destroyed the instrument, smashing it to pieces. Overcome with grief, the distraught woman threw herself from the top of the lighthouse, her body lost forever to the churning waves below. Visitors to Seguin Island report hearing fragments of the same mournful melody drifting through the air, even though no piano exists on the premises today. Some claim the music grows louder as they ascend the spiral staircase, culminating in a crescendo near the lantern room where the tragedy unfolded. Others describe seeing a translucent figure clad in Victorian-era attire wandering the grounds, her face obscured by sorrow. One particularly chilling account comes from a Coast Guard crew stationed at the lighthouse in the 1980s. They swore they saw a woman sitting at the base of the stairs, absently stroking invisible keys before vanishing without explanation. Adding to the station's haunted reputation is the presence of another ghostly figure believed to be the original keeper himself. Historical records indicate that he died under mysterious circumstances, possibly succumbing to exhaustion after battling a fierce storm. Modern-day explorers recount sightings of a man in oilskins pacing anxiously near the lantern room, his movements jerky and unnatural. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as he drifts by, while others report hearing faint whispers urging them to keep the light burning. The basement of the keeper's quarters, once used for storage and maintenance, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the station's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Paranormal investigators exploring Seguin Island have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the lantern room and the keeper's quarters. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original occupants. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Seguin Island remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill seekers alike. Its rugged beauty and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and exploration. For those brave enough to venture onto the island after dark, the promise of encountering the keeper's wife or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the iron planks, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's macabre legacy? The St. Augustine Lighthouse, shadows beneath the beam nestled along the historic shores of St. Augustine, Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse stands as a sentinel of maritime history and spectral intrigue. Built in 1874, this iconic black and white striped tower has guided countless ships through the treacherous waters of the Matanzas Bay, yet its storied past is anything but serene. Beneath its majestic beam lies a tapestry of tragedy, betrayal, and ghostly encounters that have cemented its status as one of the most haunted lighthouses on the East Coast. One of the most infamous incidents tied to the St. Augustine Lighthouse involves the deaths of 3 young girls, whose fates remain shrouded in mystery. According to historical accounts, the daughters of Hezekiah H. Pittee, the chief engineer overseeing construction of the lighthouse, were playing near the site when tragedy struck. 2 of the girls drowned after a cart carrying construction materials overturned into the bay, while the third reportedly vanished without a trace. Locals believe their spirits continue to haunt the property, seeking solace in the place where their lives were cut tragically short. Visitors often report hearing childish laughter echoing through the grounds, accompanied by the sensation of small hands tugging at their clothes. Some claim to see apparitions of young girls in period dresses chasing each other near the base of the lighthouse, their giggles fading into silence as suddenly as they began. Another prominent figure in the lighthouse's haunted lore is believed to be Joseph Andrew, the first official keeper of the St. Augustine Lighthouse. Appointed in 1874, Andrew dedicated himself to maintaining the beacon until his untimely death in 1859. While painting the exterior of the tower, he fell to his death, leaving behind a grieving widow and 6 children. Witnesses describe seeing a tall, imposing man clad in 19th century attire standing at the top of the lighthouse, gazing out over the ocean as though still performing his duties. Others report feeling an inexplicable sense of being watched, followed by the faint scent of paint and salt water lingering in the air. The keeper's quarters, located adjacent to the lighthouse, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Former residents recount eerie encounters involving objects moving inexplicably and doors slamming shut on their own. One particularly unsettling incident involved a family who claimed to wake up repeatedly to find their bedsheets soaked with seawater, despite having no logical explanation for the moisture. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured compelling evidence, including EVP recordings of disembodied voices whispering phrases like, "Help me," and "Don't leave." Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near windows overlooking the bay, suggesting residual energy tied to specific individuals. Modern-day visitors to the St. Augustine Lighthouse frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite strict no-smoking policies. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a shadowy figure standing motionless at the foot of her bed, its gaze fixed intently on her before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the St. Augustine Lighthouse continues to draw tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture onto the property after dark, the opportunity to encounter Joseph Andrew, the ghostly girls, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural grandeur or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the lighthouse promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, whispers of the graveyard of the Atlantic rising defiantly from the sands of North Carolina's Outer Banks. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse stands as both a monument to human ingenuity and a grim reminder of the perils of the sea. Known as the graveyard of the Atlantic, this stretch of coastline has claimed hundreds of ships over the centuries, their wreckage scattered beneath the waves like forgotten tombstones. Built in 1870 to warn sailors away from treacherous shoals, the lighthouse itself has become a vessel for the restless souls of those who perished nearby. Its towering black and white spiral design is instantly recognizable, but it is the spectral whispers emanating from within its walls that truly set it apart as one of the most haunted lighthouses on the East Coast. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Cape Hatteras involves the ghost of a former keeper named Robert T. Clark, whose dedication to his post ultimately cost him his life. Historical records indicate that Clark served as keeper during the late 19th century, braving hurricanes and nor'easters to ensure the beacon remained lit. On one particularly brutal night in 1896, a fierce storm knocked out the light, leaving passing ships vulnerable to disaster. Clark ventured outside to repair the mechanism but was swept away by raging floodwaters. His body never recovered. Locals believe his spirit haunts the lighthouse, eternally striving to fulfill his duty. Visitors report seeing a shadowy figure ascending the spiral staircase, clutching tools and pausing occasionally to peer out toward the horizon. Others describe hearing faint footsteps echoing through the tower, accompanied by the rhythmic clinking of metal against stone. The lighthouse's proximity to countless shipwrecks has also contributed to its haunted reputation. Many believe the spirits of drowned sailors linger near the shore, drawn to the beacon that failed to save them. Witnesses recount sightings of translucent figures wandering the beach at night, their forms illuminated by moonlight. Some claim to hear distant cries for help carried by the wind, mingling with the crash of waves against the sand. One particularly chilling account involves a group of fishermen who swore they saw a ghostly schooner materialize on the horizon, its sails tattered and crewless, before vanishing into thin air. Paranormal investigators exploring Cape Hatteras have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the lantern room and the base of the tower. EVP recordings capture fragmented phrases like, "turn back" and "stay away," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One investigator captured a photograph of a translucent figure standing at the top of the lighthouse, its arms raised as if signaling a warning to unseen vessels below. These findings have solidified the structure's reputation as one of the most active haunted sites along the eastern seaboard. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its breathtaking views and rich maritime history attract thousands of visitors annually. For those brave enough to climb its 268 steps after dark, the promise of encountering Keeper Clark or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor ascends the spiral staircase, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's macabre legacy? The Execution Rocks Lighthouse, echoes of maritime justice nestled amidst the treacherous waters of Long Island Sound, the Execution Rocks Lighthouse stands as a grim testament to justice meted out with ruthless efficiency. Commissioned in 1849, this squat, stone structure was constructed atop a cluster of submerged rocks notorious for claiming countless ships and lives. Its name derives from the grisly practice of colonial authorities chaining prisoners to the rocks at low tide, leaving them to drown as the tide rose, a fate reserved for pirates, smugglers, and other criminals deemed unworthy of mercy. Today, the lighthouse serves as a haunting reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty, its walls imbued with the anguish of those left to perish in the icy embrace of the sea. One of the most persistent legends tied to Execution Rocks involves the ghost of a condemned pirate named William Black Bill Turner, whose defiance earned him a watery grave. According to local lore, Turner refused to beg for mercy even as the chains bit into his flesh, cursing his captors with his dying breath. Witnesses claim to see a shadowy figure pacing restlessly near the base of the lighthouse, his form dissolving into mist when approached. Others report hearing faint whispers carried by the wind, interspersed with anguished cries pleading for release. One particularly unnerving account involves a boater who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the water before releasing him abruptly. Adding to the lighthouse's haunted reputation is the presence of another spectral figure believed to be a former keeper named John Anderson. Historical records indicate that Anderson served during the mid-20th century, enduring years of isolation and hardship. Overwhelmed by despair, he allegedly took his own life by leaping from the lantern room, his body lost to the depths below. Modern-day explorers recount sightings of a gaunt man in oilskins pacing anxiously near the lantern room, his movements jerky and unnatural. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as he drifts by, while others report hearing faint whispers urging them to keep the light burning. The basement of the keeper's quarters, once used for storage and maintenance, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the station's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Paranormal investigators exploring Execution Rocks have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the lantern room and the keeper's quarters. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original occupants. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I didn't do it," and "Set me free." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Execution Rocks remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rugged beauty and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and exploration. For those brave enough to venture onto the island after dark, the promise of encountering Black Bill, Keeper Anderson, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the iron planks, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's macabre legacy? As we traverse the haunted landscapes of the East Coast, from the jagged cliffs of Maine to the sandy shores of Florida, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of sanatoriums to the shadowed basements of courtrooms, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of shipwrecks or the betrayed trust of keepers subjected to isolation-induced madness, These spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. As we bring this chilling journey through the most haunted lighthouses on the East Coast to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted lighthouses yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, Every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.